This is a rather gentrified, outright luxurious police raid, especially for one designed to help end a deadly underworld feud between two warring organised crime families in Sydney, Australia's largest city. The mob reporter here with the incredible story of how these luxury cars are linked to the messiness of an equally in-your-face gang war. From this, to this, to this. Let me tell you about it. Anti-gang squad cops with a reputation for heavy policing were joined on the raid at a luxury car firm by civil servants carrying clipboards and calculators. It's part of an aggressive, in-your-face police strategy to smother an escalating gangland feud. The combatants here are the Alameddine family and the Hamzy family, and right now in Sydney, they are collectively public enemy number one. Both families are originally from the Middle East and both have deep ties to a caste of outlaws involved in an array of public crime, from shooting police, shooting each other, shooting innocent bystanders, and even ties to a terror attack. This raid at the car firm on March 26, 2021, in an eastern suburb of Sydney, provides a glorious backdrop, with Maclaren and Porsche, Ferrari, Royce, Bentley and others being scrutinized by police. But it is really just a colorful aside in this unfolding crime drama. About a dozen of the cars, police say, are being used by high-ranking members of the Alameddine organized crime network. The cars have popped up in police probes, including a stately Bentley Continental GT that's linked to a drive-by shooting last year. The Alameddine family came to wide public attention after an alarming incident in 2015. A civilian police employee, an accountant named Curtis Cheng, was shot dead as he left the New South Wales Police Headquarters. The teenage gunman then died in a firefight. The incident was branded an extremist act. 2 weeks later, police charged Talal Alameddine, 22 at the time, with supplying the gun that he used. The Alameddine's beef with the Hamzy clan was highlighted once Talal got to prison for his 17-year bid. Talal got in a vicious fight in the exercise yard of Australia's most secure prison with Bassam Hamzy. This is important because Bassam Hamzy is the founder of Brothers for Life, a gang built around the Hamzy clan. Bassam Hamzy and his crew became one of the most prominent crime groups in Australia in recent years. Bassam's father, the Hamzy patriarch, was convicted in the 1990s as part of a drug syndicate. Bassam followed down the same path. He's been locked up since 1999 for drugs, murder, and conspiracy to murder. He's routinely called Australia's most notorious and dangerous inmate. While in prison for life, Hamzy founded the Brothers for Life. He codified his criminal affairs and relationships, and bars haven't penned in his influence. Bassam managed to smuggle cell phones into his cell to issue directives. Brothers for Life became racked by an internal feud between factions. Allegiance shifted in an evolution that seems to have moved the Hamzys away from a street gang model towards more of a mafia-like crime family model. And along the way, the suburbs of Sydney didn't quite seem big enough for both the Hamzy network and the Alameddine network. Their rivalry ebbs and flows, largely in response to tit-for-tat attacks when one side feels aggrieved and thirsts for revenge, not only seeking justice, but ensuring no sign of weakness is shown to a watching underworld. One shooting inevitably leads to another. The rivalry became a feud, a blood feud. It's like the old Hatfield and McCoy feud of American lore. Back in Sydney, the bullets kept flying throughout the pandemic. Police traced the current escalation to a drug rip, apparently by the Alameddine, against the Hamzy. In response, apparently, Ibrahim Hamzy, a cousin of Bassam, and 3 of his colleagues attacked an Alameddine associate, police told court. 3 days after the assault, Ibrahim Hamzy's house was shot at. 2 days after that, Rafat Alameddine's house was shot up, and an immediate response saw gunmen wearing ski masks ambush Majid Hamzy, Bassam's brother, outside his home. Majid, 44, was shot early in the morning in October 2020 in the driveway of his West Sydney home. After taking 4 slugs, he ran down the street looking over his shoulder before he collapsed near the home of a friend. The slaying remains unsolved. Bassam Hamzy has a reputation for dishing retribution for even casual slights. No one expects the slaying of a brother to go unmarked. Some revenge bids by both sides have been botched, arousing public anger. In one case, gunmen got an address wrong and shot up the house of a neighbor of their gangland target, sending bullets smashing through an innocent family's home where young children were sleeping. In another, on February 15, 2021, stray bullets hit a nearby hospital, smashing through a window and injuring a nurse working inside. In a push to stem this feud, police drafted a list of 22 people from both sides and issued public safety orders that restrict their movements and who they get together with. Police then went to court to secure far more reaching restrictions. They are called serious crime prevention orders, which allow for intense police monitoring and tracking.
Police search warrant, open the door! Police search warrant, open the door! Police search warrant, open the door! Open the door!
These orders restrict what phones they can use, what cars they can drive, who they can talk to, where they can bank, when they have to be at home, and where they can travel. It's like strict probation or parole conditions without a criminal conviction. In an interesting twist, Raptor Alameddine complained in court that the orders make him a sitting duck, imposing a curfew when he has to be home and requiring him to live at the same address, as was reported by Fergus Hunter at the Sydney Morning Herald. The court saw the point and gave him latitude over where he could spend the night, as long as police were told the same day. A few weeks ago, another of Bassam Hamzy's brothers was arrested for breaching his serious crime prevention order. Police said he had several phones and a laptop computer and was driving a car he hadn't registered with police. His lawyer said he has disavowed any link to the Brothers for Life and the criminal faction of his clan, even going so far as to changing his last name. Police seem unconvinced. The head of the Raptor Squad, a special police unit targeting organized crime groups, talks a hard line. Detective Superintendent Jason Weinstein openly says his officers will lawfully harass their targets into submission. This in-your-face policing strategy was started in Sydney years ago to quell outlaw biker wars, but has since evolved to encompass other gangs. There's another strand of policing also at play here. About 15 years ago, in response to violence by gangs formed by some expats from Lebanon and other Middle East countries, Sydney police established a special police squad to tackle them. It was known as MEOCS, the letters MEOCS, short for the Middle Eastern Organized Crime Squad. MEOCS became an acronym embraced and mocked by those they investigated. Police started seeing MEOC tattoos and MEOC license plates on the gangsters and on the cars of gangsters being probed by the Middle East Organized Crime Squad, as shown here by Australia's 9 network. Just as the gangsters evolved, so too has the police squad. Strikeforce Raptor was created in 2009 to target outlaw motorcycle gangs, bikies as they're called in Australia, but last month the mandate of the MEOCS was blended with that of the Raptors. The Raptors was expanded and made a full squad on its own.
Police search warrant! Open the door!
Announcing the change last month, the police commissioner described its mandate as, quote, relentless, high-impact and in-your-face policing, unquote. Raptors would strangle their every move. That's a significant challenge. Their idea is to make a life in crime so untenable they quit or leave. This means enforcing even minor infractions to the fullest extent, even driving, parking, or licensing infractions, bylaw breaches, parole violations, anything. It's meant to apply constant pressure. The police offensive is aggressive and overt, doubly so by the standards of some other countries where such tactics might be widely condemned and certainly legally challenged. The very first priority of the new-look Raptors was to quell the Hamzy-Alameddine feud. Which brings us back to the glamorous atmosphere of the luxury car firm on Friday. Investigators said they are not alleging the business participated in criminal activities, but they do have a lot of questions about the use of their vehicles by people they have their sights on, and how they paid for them, and the records they are keeping. And the business seems likely to face some business ramifications. It seems police want to send a message to the civilian enablers of the families, as well as the gangsters themselves. Thanks for watching.